Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the Dreame D30 Ultra Robot Vacuum. We bought one and put it through a variety of tests over the last few weeks, and in this review, we'll cover what it does well, where it could be better, and whether it's a good value overall. Links are in the description, and let's get started. Starting with the basics, the D30 is the most advanced member of Dreame's entry-level D series. It's the first member that has mop washing in the base station, and it has a dedicated obstacle avoidance system, which isn't standard on the D lineup. This is also the priciest member of the series. There is a variant model called D30 Ultra CE, which has some of the features removed to bring the price down a little bit. Moving on to the pros. This model has some good vacuuming scores. The D30 has a fixed side brush to sweep debris into the path of the main vacuum, and it ships with Dreame's Tri-Cut anti-tangle main brush. The Tri-Cut has tiny teeth that are meant to slice long hair to prevent it from wrapping, and you usually have to purchase it separately. The D30 did great at its main job of sweeping debris of all sizes from the surfaces of both hard floors and carpets, with basically no scattering of fine debris. The D30 also has a carpet boost feature that automatically increases its suction, and it did well on our carpet deep clean test. In this test, we embed sand into medium pile carpet and measure how much the robot can remove, and the D30 was able to get a higher than average score. It also did better than average in our crevice test, which is good news for homes that have deep grout or joints between floorboards. Navigation was also a strong pro. The D30 uses a top-mounted LiDAR sensor for routing itself throughout the home, and this system worked really well, giving it a higher than average navigation score. Its efficient routing helped it vacuum and mop our studio floor plan in much less time than average. Battery life was another huge pro. This model has a fairly large battery capacity, and its efficiency was excellent, about 25% better than the average. Between great navigation and efficient battery, the D30 has a higher estimated square feet per charge than the average model. Dock automations are a pro. Not only does the robot empty its debris into a disposable bag, but it also washes and dries the mop pads at ambient temperatures. This feature is something we haven't seen in the D series up to this point, and it means that you don't have to wash the pads by hand after every use. It also refills the robot's water tank, has a self-cleaning washboard, and supports fast charging. It's one of the strongest apps in the industry, with an intuitive interface that makes it easy to find what you need. It has all of your basic functions covered, like no-go zones, schedules, no mop zones, map editing, room settings, and cleaning sequence preferences. It also has a few fine-tuning features, like mopping along the direction of the floor, which can minimize the appearance of streaks. Mopping features are another pro, and it's another place where this model has automations that we don't always see on the D series. The system uses dual spinning mop pads that scrub with downward pressure. One pad extends 4 centimeters to the side to clean closer to edges, and the pads lift 0.41 inches, or about 1 centimeter, so that it can vacuum and mop a mixture of hard floors and carpets in a single run. You can also set the robot to avoid carpets altogether for further carpet protection. Before we move on to the cons, there were a couple of places where it performed right about the average, so let's talk about that for a minute. First, while the official suction rating is 25,000 pascals, which is impressive at this tier, official suction isn't always a predictor of strong real-world performance, so we test suction for ourselves. In our suction bench test, it came in right around the average, and we saw pretty much the same in our airflow test. Another average score showed up in our hair tangle test. We use 7-inch hair to test anti-tangle systems, and the main brush on the D30 was not a strong performer in this, with 25% of the hair still wrapped. Even with the Tri-Cut brush, it performed almost exactly at the average, which could be a downside for homes with a lot of long hair. Moving on to the cons. There were a few places where this model performed below the average. One of these was in our obstacle avoidance tests. While the fact that this model even has obstacle avoidance at all is a pro, since this isn't standard in the D series, it didn't blow us away. The hardware is a lightweight LDS and 3D structured light system, and it only avoided half of the objects in our standard tests. But our torture test is where it really struggled, only avoiding 2 out of 12 obstacles. This added up to a total score of 8 out of 24, which means you're going to want to do some tidying before you run the vacuum so that it doesn't get caught up in cables or other floor clutter. Mopping performance was another con. The D30 did not score well in the dried stain test, coming in way below the average, and we saw this pattern repeat in our coffee-only stain test. We penalize mops that use a lot of water because too much left behind can leave streaks when it dries. The D30 didn't leave behind much water, which gave it a small advantage, although a little more water in this case might have been helpful in the stain tests. In any case, the combined mopping score came in a small bit above the average, but this definitely isn't its strongest feature, and you can probably expect only light cleaning from it. And finally, while carpet deep cleaning and crevice pickup were strong, the pet hair pickup was well below the average. For this test, we flattened 2.5-inch hair onto carpet to mimic real-world conditions, and we measure how much the robot is able to pick up. The D30 only removed 60% of the hair compared to the 82% average and the perfect score from the Eufy C28. Obviously, this isn't an issue for all users, but if your home has a lot of pet hair to contend with, this robot may not be up to the task. The smaller than average dustbin could also pose a challenge for homes with pets, since the bin can overfill before the robot gets a chance to empty it. So these are things to bear in mind. The D30 Ultra boosts the automations and features in the D series, which has historically been the Dreame budget option, but it came in fairly low in our rankings based on some of the test results. It performed well in some contexts, like in the carpet deep clean test, and the navigation and battery life make this a strong choice for larger homes. But if mopping is important to you, and if you have a lot of pet hair to take into consideration, there might be better options for you. A higher performing robot that's on sale could deliver some better results for nearly the same price. You can see our favorite robots at any price on our top 20 robot vacuums list on our website. We purchase all of the robots that we test, and our reviews are never sponsored. Links are in the description, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you go. Thanks for watching.
Vacuum Wars independently tests new vacuums year-round, and the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our latest top picks across multiple categories. You'll also find detailed rankings on the Vacuum Wars website, including our top 20 robot vacuums, top cordless vacuums, and more. Every review here is unsponsored, just honest results. Subscribe so you never miss one, and tap the next video to keep watching.